Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Did we get it? Are we here? Is the thing? Hey! How you doing there, friends? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever time it might be in your part of the world. Welcome back to the live stream. My name is Jeff Fritz. It's been a while since we've been together. That we had a December holiday break in there and some stop at the beginning of January for the new year. It is so good to be back. Thank you so much for joining me again. We're back for another C# with CSharpFritz stream. We've got the electric setup here. Looks like I'm inside the machine, as it were. I got my friendly bot right here, looking outside. Look, I can see outside the machine. It's beautiful and sunny in Philadelphia. I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you might be. We've got a bunch of things that I want to get to on the schedule today. Let me set the table, get us started here. We're going to get back in with a little bit of refresher, get started, warm back up here on these sessions on this channel that are more focused on some training, on some content that is pre-built. It's very much scripted, and this is intended to be a conversation. I'm going to give you all of the content. You can download it. There's a link going out to the GitHub repository. It's just below here if you're on YouTube. If you're over on Twitch, go to github.com/CSharpFritz. You can find the C# with CSharpFritz repository in there, and we're going to be talking today. We're gonna warm up today. We're gonna get back into this. My goodness, I couldn't even get all my things set up. I don't have my headset wires all the way set for me to go to the other set today. That's okay. We've still got some other tools that we can work with here, and we're going to talk about C#11. Get us up to date on some of the new C# features that were released with .NET 7. These are features that you can use as you program with .NET 7 and all versions of .NET going forward. We're going to take a deep dive on some of those features and all of the sample code that I'm going to show you, like I said, along with all of the text and links are all available in the samples that we have available in the GitHub repository. We're going to finish up with that. We'll see how far we get, but we'll finish up with that, and we're going to go in and we're going to start talking about .NET MAUI again. We're starting a series where we're going to learn about building a .NET MAUI application. It's probably going to be about 4 to 6 episodes where we're going to go through, build a basic application. We're going to talk about Blazor Hybrid, and we're going to go right up to publishing that application on your favorite app store, whether it's the Windows Store, the Mac Store, iOS, or Android stores. We're going to get right up to that point and show you how to build a basic application, get you started so you have a good jump off point to go deeper on more advanced topics. So that's the schedule. That's where we're going over the next few weeks, and especially here for the next 2 hours that we're going to be coding together, talking. And this is a discussion. Everybody's welcome. Please, no gatekeeping. Please, everybody can ask questions. If you can help out in the chat room, that's fantastic. If you can't, that's okay. I read every question that comes through, and I am going to answer as best I can. All right. Let's start off. We start off every one of these streams with an AMA. Ask me anything about things .NET, about things Visual Studio or Azure. Let's head over. Let's crack open the chat room. There it is right there. And those of you that are watching on YouTube, you're going to see your messages appear, of course, here with the YouTube indicator. And of course, if you're on Twitch, you'll see the little Twitch indicator. And it doesn't matter which service you're on, you're going to see the Restream bot posting messages to the other service with the messages that are over on the other one. So if you're on Twitch, the Restream bot will drop messages about YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, it'll post messages about what's going on Twitch. So let's dive in. Let's start at the beginning here. I will be saying hello to Sharaf. Good afternoon to you in Egypt. Welcome back. Thank you so much. Waiting so much for Maui videos. Hardly missed. Hope I make a Maui series. Yep, that's the goal here. I did grow a little bit of a beard here over the break. Nice growing a beard. It's the winter here in North America. Great thing, keeps my face warm. Bad thing, my kids say I look like Santa Claus, and folks say I look like an old man now because I've got the graying beard coming in. We might have to do something about that. How you doing there, Odnero? Good to see you. King Athelston, hello, good day to you. Hello to Lucas in Sweden. George is here from Belgium. Strug from Russia. Hello. Matus, good afternoon, and hello from Slovakia. Good afternoon to you in Slovakia. Gerson, how you doing in Brazil? You really like the videos. Thank you so much, Gerson. Really appreciate that. Radio, is it Radio Night? How you doing there? Roro in Korea. A very good evening to you. Very late evening. King Athelstan is in jolly old England. Well, hello. Spectari Code on Twitch from South Africa. How you doing there? Greg Hilton Varian. Hi, how's it going there? The Straw Hat Fleet is here on Twitch. Nemd is on holiday for Lunar New Year. I hope you're having a fantastic Lunar New Year. To all of those who celebrate, it's a fantastic weekend, and I hope you have a great day today. Florian, how you doing there in Vienna? Machine Elves. Yeah, that's right. Scherer, good to see you there on Twitch. Is that Youngwook Park? You missed me. Oh, thank you. I missed chatting and hanging out here. This is always fun. I really enjoy. I do really enjoy talking, hanging out on this program and talking about all the cool things .NET. It's a big part of not just what my work, but it's a big part of my life, building and making web applications, making applications, services that folks can use. I really enjoy it. Ozzy says, awesome to see you back, Fritz, and that you survived the latest call. Well, okay. Yes, there are significant layoffs in the tech field going on right now. And all the best to the folks that were affected. It's never easy, not just for the folks that are affected, but also for the folks who work with them, because friends, people that you see every day are no longer around, and we now have to adjust and make changes, and things that we may have wanted to do we can't do anymore, or things that that person was responsible for, well, now they've been delegated and they're over, and we've got to figure out new ways to do things. So it's really hard on those folks that are affected, but those that still are sticking around, yeah, we've got some changes in work to pick up there, and it's never easy for anybody in the organizations. Old Narrow is here from Jamaica. Hey, Fritz Brown. Hey, I recognize that name. Is it viable to develop Maui using VS Code? Oh, my friend. You are landing on a topic that I was considering demoing today. I have a blog post over on my blog, jeffreyfritz.com. Head over there with your favorite browser. Maybe it's one that has a nice big blue E. I don't know. But head over there with your favorite browser, and I have a blog post where I talk about how I use Visual Studio Code with Linux. It's a little bit further back. I wrote this post in December, beginning of December, and I'm trying to scroll down and find it because it's not linked on my list of previous posts, and the link to the archive isn't there either. There it is. Let me copy that link for you, and I will share that in chat. There you go. So that link will get you some details about how I was able to build a .NET MAUI app with the Android emulator on Linux. So it's not quite the question that you were looking for help with. Yes, you can build a MAUI app with Visual Studio Code, but I take that a step further, and I show how you can use Visual Studio Code with the .NET command line and Android Studio, so you get the emulators. Very cool stuff. Go ahead and check out that blog post. Tell your friends, tell your families, tell your pets about that blog post. I could use the search engine juice. That would be a thing. Let me get some music playing here in the background, and we'll dive into some more comments, some more questions here. I'm going to play the Stream Beats Synthwave playlist. This is music that is... There we go. This is music that is DMCA free, royalty free. Listen to it wherever you want. YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, doesn't matter. It's all free for you to do. And we listen to it here because it's kind of groovy, kind of has that tech vibe, and it's really fun to listen to in the background and groove to while we're writing code and chatting. Brings a little bit of atmosphere. Big thanks to Harris Heller and his team of creators for making this music available that we listen to today. Let me catch up on some more questions here. Here we go. Let's see. Algebra 97. I'm fine at 25 and your hair started going white. Don't make me feel any older there. My goodness, Algebra 97. Rahul, how you doing there? Good day. Sean is here. Happy belated New Year. Yes, from Fort Knox, Kentucky. Oh my goodness, I'm going to be down. I'm going to be visiting Tennessee in April. We're trying to set something up in May as well. Hello to you in Taiwan. Amit is here from Germany. Are we learning C# as a whole, asks Kofi. No, this is going to be mostly an update to show some of the new C# 11 features. If you'd like to learn C# from the beginning, check out the playlist on the YouTube channel. You're on YouTube, Kofi, so check out the playlist that's right here on the .NET channel. It's probably a playlist button somewhere right above me here. Click the playlist button, look for Learn C# with CSharpFritz, and you'll get this a big playlist of videos from this show with a whole bunch of interactive content, all the demos to get you started with notebooks. You don't have to install anything. Run it all in your browser, and you'll be able to follow along and start with C#. It's a very good hands-on beginner series for folks that are interested. Truth Force is here from Twitch. I don't really like Visual Studio 2019, and it's really slow on my slow PC. Can I solely use VSC to build .NET applications? Now you're going back. VSC. Ooh. Can you use the .NET command line to build applications? Yes. I recommend you use the .NET SDK. You can download that from get.net. So get, period, .dot, period, .net. You can download the SDK. You can install and you can build .NET applications with Notepad, with Vim, with Emacs. Don't use Emacs. I'm a Vim user. Whatever text editor you'd like. You can certainly build. You'll be able to build console applications, web applications, services that run on Windows, Mac, or Linux. You can build MAUI applications. About the only thing that you need Visual Studio for is if you're going to use the Windows Forms Designer. Otherwise, you can build WPF applications. You can build, MAUI applications that run on Windows, and web applications. So including Blazor, all run at the command line, all compile and run at the command line. So if you don't like Visual Studio, and we really like Visual Studio, you can take your pick and use whatever makes you happy there. So Visual Studio 2022 is a fantastic editor for folks to be able to work with. Kofi is from Ghana. How you doing there? Who dis? It's me. How you doing there, Jesus? Earth Baba, hello to you in Pakistan. Wait, where did my counter go? My timer isn't on the screen. What? Wait. They should be here. Why isn't it here? Where did it go? And it's not even... Oh. That's why. I'm gonna set that to 30 minutes. Let's reset the countdown there. Where is it? It's on my scripts. 1 second here. This one. And yeah, let's reset that to 30 minutes. There we go. All right. 30-minute countdown in effect. Oh my goodness. All right, let's take a look here. Where have I been? Says Codebia. Yeah, I had vacation in December, and the first few weeks here of January, a couple of American holidays that kept us delayed. Florian says, one thing in .NET MAUI I'm actually missing is a file save option dialog, the opposite of file picker. There's got to be something in the community toolkit if there isn't one out of the box. I would have to search and get back to you on that. I would think there's a file save dialog in there. Hey there, Napalm on Twitch. Good to see you. Oh, it feels so good to have coffee this time of the morning. So I drink the peppermint mocha. Through December, it's kind of a thing. You drink peppermint-flavored tea, coffee, these types of things. So I have peppermint mocha. This is the last peppermint mocha coffee that I have. I'm done for the season. We're going to flip back to... I have some cinnamon and French vanilla that we're going to be trying. Both Starbucks flavors that we're going to be switching to after today. But I like the peppermint mocha, let me tell you. Michael's here from Chicagoland. You got a Python CV2 app that does vision detection. Can I run this Python script in a Blazor app? No. Blazor application is compiled, and it has all the tools that you need to run .NET in the browser with WebAssembly. You're not going to be able to lift a Python app and drop it in there. You could do some similar operations using ML.NET, machine learning for .NET. Won't use your Python script too much, but you might be able to still do the same thing, but in the browser. But that Python script, no, you won't be able to crisscross. Iron Python was a thing. I'm not sure you're going to be able to get that to recompile and work properly over in Blazor. I can almost guarantee it's not going to ship and run in Blazor. Hey there, Thin Doll. Good to see you. It is a restream, Jesus, yes. King Athelstan asks, is Blazor picking up much momentum in 2023 thus far? I personally am loving it, just gauging job prospects. Thanks for the beginner Blazor vids. Love the magical Blazor touch. I'm glad you enjoy that. Is it picking up speed? Yes. The .NET folks who check out Blazor absolutely love it, enjoy using it because it has that portability. You can take Blazor components and web pages and build and run them either on a server, delivering web content, in the web browser as WebAssembly, or repackage it and ship it as a native application with MAUI. And we'll take a look at a simple example of that today. Really cool stuff. Exact numbers, growth, I don't have those, and even if I did, I don't think I can share them with you, but it is absolutely growing, particularly as we get into the new year. Folks are reevaluating. They've got new budgets for development projects for the new year, and there are folks converting and using Blazor. We haven't heard too much of folks migrating from Blazor to something else. Amit asks, ChatGPT, is that a thing which C# developers are scared of? No, and I'll tell you why. ChatGPT doesn't actually write code. It emits code blocks that it thinks match the text that you're looking for. It doesn't actually compile and test anything. It is literally just emitting code that it thinks is formatted the way you want. ChatGPT knows how to work with language, knows how to work with interacting on spoken word. Code, not so much. So the code it generates, it might give you some decent HTML or some decent C# to start. I asked it to write some Excel macros for me, and they weren't bad. But once you start taking a couple steps off the beaten path, it gets lost. It gets confused. So don't be scared of it. You shouldn't be scared of any of the AI development assistant technologies, because something still has to prompt them and configure them and define how these things all stick together. That base low-level stuff that generates properties, assigns properties, does some of the simple interactions that you have to write in code. Let something else generate that so that you can focus on those things that you're really good at, the things that you are a subject matter expert in, and those AI technologies will never know. So, how you doing there, Carlos in Brazil? Good to see you. Stacy Clouds is here. How you doing, Stacy? Good to see you. Yeah, some cool tattoos Stacy got. Cold Hands. I had a .NET developer interview today, waiting for the results, fingers crossed. Cold Hands, let us know how it goes. We want to be able to celebrate if you get that job. And you know what? Even if you don't, that's okay too. Try again. They might not be a great fit. Might be a better fit that's waiting for you out there still. Finally, you can watch me live again. How you doing there, Dimmy? Stephen D. Hopes I'm doing well. Greetings to you in Australia. Very good evening. Late evening to you. Mateo, hello. Mark is here. Jefferson Santos. Hey, Jeff. It's Jeff. Good to see you, Jeff. How's things? The Jeff Club, we've been getting together recently. I don't know if you know this, and there's going to be a new secret handshake announced for the Club of Jeffs. All right, so don't tell anybody, but there's a new secret handshake coming. Young Wook Park, looking to the future. Do I recommend MAUI to all Windows app developers? I do. Because looking forward, MAUI gets you a great cross-platform development experience so that when you build your application, it runs on Windows, Mac, iOS, and Android. So I think so. I think MAUI is going to be where you want to build native applications. You dig the GitHub hat? I had an Apollo hat on from the American Space Program, thinking Apollo 11 landed on the moon. We're talking about C# 11. Huh? See that? 11. Dad joke, I guess. I don't know. Any developer PC recommendation specs for MAUI? Get a bit of memory on that thing. Go at least 16 gig, if not 32. And are there plans to add? Well, I'll get to that question. Go for at least 16 gig, if not 32 of RAM. You're gonna want at least 256 gig of drive space. And as always, when you buy a new developer rig, get the fastest processor you can buy. Always get the fastest processor. I'm running a Ryzen 9 5900 on this machine. 64 gig of RAM. I have a GeForce 3600 on this. And this machine is almost 2 years old now, I think. So, in great shape with it. So, Napalm can't do flavored coffee grounds or beans. You do syrup lattes and stuff. Okay. Is there any reason for picking WPF or WinForms over Maui for a new desktop app? Asks Fritz. Is there any reason to? If that's where your team's skills are, those are supported technologies. They're going to continue to be supported. There is investment going on in them. They're not going to grow as fast as Maui that's built on top of WinUI. Of course, if you want the latest Windows features, you got to build with the latest Windows frameworks. So if you want to take advantage of the latest Windows 11 features inside your application, you're going to want to use .NET MAUI. You may want to use the older technologies if you have requirements for more compatibility across older versions of Windows, or if that's where your team's skills lie. That's the reasons I would stick with those older ones. Is there a reason to implement jar binding in Maui like Xamarin? Yes. If you need to bind to some native features in Android, yes. You remember IronPython? Looks like they're still updating. Okay. How you doing there, Chaotic Monkey? Didn't find this one as easy to use, but it is an option. There you go. Glad to hear it, Florian. All right, King Athelstan. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It will never replace us. You're right, Dimmy. James Foreman is here. What is the best career for those who love working with cloud and software development? The best career? The best career is software development for working with the cloud. I don't know what you mean by the best career. Kanawa Nagasaki. Hello. You want to make and I'm sorry, I can't read the script there. I want to make best way to develop easier structure to develop business applications in my organization. Which structure is better, Blazor or MVC Razor? Easier to develop. MVC with Razor is gonna be easier because it forces things into a development structure. You're forced to put things in specific places to get it work. That would be my recommendation. Blazor is very flexible, lots of things you can do, but if you want to standardize stuff, you're going to have to build a bit of a framework with that to enforce a specific structure with that. Timebender, hello to you in Canada. You're welcome, Stacy. Catching up, my goodness. I love how fast the chat's coming in. This is great. It takes an age to get the courage to do tattoos. I've been eyeballing a tattoo for a while. I want to get the Super C# logo on an arm or something. Don't know. Cigar, hello to you. Amar Omar from Yemen. Good to see you, Amar. Thank you for tuning in this late afternoon. Late afternoon, I think it is, in your part of the world. Chris Jones, good to see you. Weak Potato Clone is here on Twitch with the hello. Kanawa Nagasaki asks, are there plans to add 3D graphics support for Maui? I don't know. I'd recommend you ask the Maui team on the Maui developer stand-up. They're here on this channel, whether it's on YouTube or Twitch. You'll see them, I can't remember if they're Wednesday or Thursday this week. Roro has a question. You were wondering, to simply test an application without publishing it, the paid Apple developer account is still mandatory. No, you do not need that to test an application. You can build and work with things on your workstation, on your Mac. We've even got tools in Visual Studio so that you can plug in a phone, and I do have a test phone that I'm finishing configuring. But you can plug that in, deploy, and run natively on the phone. You're going to have you should be able to deploy and test there, and you only really need to pay when you deploy. With the Ryzen, can you emulate a phone? Yes. I've been doing that a lot, Dimmy. I had to upgrade a bunch of drivers, but I have been able to do it. I had a hard time with it about a year ago. But with all the latest drivers from the Google Android folks, works great on this machine. At the company Dimmy works, we maintain a lot of WinForms apps. There you go. You don't write new ones anymore. All right. A lot of people encourage James to take a look at DevOps. DevOps is cool. There's absolutely there's something to be said about being in that pipeline that makes sure that new applications are being developed and deployed to users and running well. So that would be cool. What would be cool, Stacy? I'm sorry, folks. Just a quick reminder, there's a lot of chat messages going by. Give me a little bit of context when you write a message, just so I can make sure that I respond to exactly what you got there. Not to single anyone out, but it reminds me, gives me a little bit more information because I am picking up and reading chat messages. Gareth Thiel asks, will Visual enable some AI code analysis like we saw in ChatGPT? It's already there. Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio 2022, you can install and run GitHub Copilot, and you will get code analysis being reported for you. Ah, my tattoo idea. Thank you, Stacy. Yeah, super C# logo I think would be very cool. I totally agree. Abdelghani, how you doing there? Good to see you as well. Thank you for tuning in. Cthulhu666, I'm doing well. I've got a nice cup of coffee. I'm feeling great this morning and ready to write some code. The Napalm's right. The free provisioning on the phone is limited, but for basic testing, you're in like Flynn. You've got this. Venugopal, using Visual Studio, can we do MAUI load test across platforms? What are you load testing in an application? Like, are you going to have the application do a lot of things on a phone? Help me out there. What do you mean by load testing on a phone? You're not sending a lot of users at something. A phone, a device, a MAUI application is a single user experience. The service that those connect to, that's where you might do some load testing. And you could certainly set up some sort of a faux, a dummy client that connects and acts like the application might. But I'm not sure you're load testing in the application. It might be a little bit different here. But tell me more. What you're trying to do there. C# Dev asks, for how long will I keep on streaming MAUI, and what's going to be the next topic? We should be in .NET MAUI through February. And my next topic, I've got one of two ways that I'm going to go. I was considering going either to ML.NET and do 2-3 weeks of machine learning, maybe 4, don't know. Haven't written it yet, or go and do a fundamentals series and talk about some of the things that we've introduced, but go a little bit deeper on how or why they work, or how to optimize things. Do some performance discussion around some fundamentals topics. So a couple different directions there, but I think in the April timeframe, we'll probably reboot and start over with basics of C#. We're almost back around to that, restarting again and have those conversations. So, Napalm wrote a blog post on free provisioning in MAUI. Nice. Yeah, look at that. Very cool. Thank you for sharing the link. I'm going to hang on to that. Maybe we'll get that added into the notes when we dig in a little bit deeper on the Maui topics. But I will hang on to that. Thank you. Continuing scrolling through here, Grass to Class on YouTube asks, what do I suggest you go to, Maui or Uno, after using Xamarin Forms for the last 5 years? Maui. A lot of the syntax for .NET Maui is the same, and it's going to get you a better experience moving forward. So, how you doing there, Billy? Cool, good to see you. James Foreman says, I believe DevExpress is giving a free license for Maui controls. Is it still free? It was free while it was in early beta. All the control vendors are working on components for .NET Maui. Taking a quick peek. Windows Desktop, malware, .NET Maui. They are free on DevExpress. There's not that many of them, but and they've got some project templates. So yep. So the other control vendors have components as well. Some of them are paid. So, how you doing there? Technical Chakra vlog. Say that again. Technical Chakra vlog. Good to see you. Tattoos are for convicts. No, they are not. Sorry. Completely disagree. Can you get Blazor in an MVC project? Yes, you can. There's tools that will allow you to invoke and launch those components. RSTI on YouTube asks, what do you use to build C# Windows only low latency application with live graphics, charts, etc.? Honestly, I would use WPF for the graphics intensive application. Very solid. It's been around for a long time, and you're going to get really good interaction on that stuff. Very stable, where .NET Maui and WinUI are growing and changing. So I think you're going to have a much better experience with WPF. Hey there, TG on YouTube. Long time waiting for the .NET Maui introduction. Oh, thank you. Oh my goodness, that's very kind. Recently you find that the await using an await for each exists. And what they're doing, yes, Kanawa Nagasaki, yes. You can await a parallel for each and work through things. Did I see the lenticular cloud in Bursa, Turkey? No. Fuel Snable, can you share an image? Can you share a link? Excuse me, I'm a little congested here. Please make an approval workflow video. No, that's a little bit more specific than what I'm looking for, than the types of frameworks and lessons that we do here. That type of implementation of a specific business process or business application, that's not the kind of thing we do here. We try to stay as close to here's how you use the framework and tools as possible, showing folks how to build a store, how to build a blog, how to build more advanced business logic applications. There's businesses that do that and do a real great job of it. As Microsoft, I don't want to detract from those folks. It helps us a lot for those other businesses and industries to be able to build and invent their own things, and for us to continue to support them. Very cool, Fuel Snable. There you go. Grass to Class asks, any future plans for web? We just came off of a couple of web series, so not currently. We would probably get back around to web topics in mid to late summer. Oh my goodness. What's the future of WPF? WPF is, there is a group that's been a group of folks that has been hired with the specific purpose of closing out a bunch of the pull requests, bug reports that have been logged to get that back up to speed. So those folks are working hard to patch and improve WPF. Are there going to be dramatic new features planned? I don't know. I can't answer that. CSharpDev asks on YouTube, can we await multiple times inside the same method? Or we should use task when all or task when any? Good question. You can use the await keyword multiple times in the same method. You would use a task when all or task when any when you want multiple methods to be running concurrently. So consider, let's take a microservice. A microservice type of application. You've got several services out there that are doing a bunch of different things. And you want to make calls into 2 or 3 different services. And when they're all completed, return control to the calling method. That's when you'd use task when all. Task when any is when you go ahead and execute all 3 of these methods to interact with microservices that are running somewhere else. And when any one of those is complete, return control, and that's when you use task when any. You shared your tweet about it. Thank you so much, Fuel Snavel. WPF Core 5, is there anything for print multiple pages without DevExpress? It's very expensive. To print multiple pages, take a look at something like iPDF. That'll allow you to take content, format it as a PDF, and send that to the printer. There's a couple of open source tools like that you can use for generating PDFs. Any tools out there to migrate existing Xamarin Forms apps to MAUI? The .NET Upgrade Assistant tool, I forget what frameworks that supports. MVC, yes, that does support .NET MAUI, Xamarin Forms to .NET MAUI. So check out the .NET Upgrade Assistant tool. There's a link in chat. That'll help you get migrated. You may have to tune some things after it gets over there. Let me see here. Check that. Oh, wow. That is a very Blazor cloud. Oh, my goodness. You aren't kidding. Let me see. Scrolling through. Confirmed. Microsoft has failed at making Xbox. Sure thing, Sonny. Gates said it. Shut it down. I don't think so. A division of a company that makes billions of dollars, I would never call a failure. Can you use VS Code in Linux to build MAUI apps? Asks Victor Marin. Victor, you missed me. I was just talking about that. I have a blog post. There you go. On my blog where I did exactly that. Check out that blog post. It'll get you somewhere. That'll come across in the Restream bot, and you'll see the link for that. Check that out. Any plans for Blazor custom elements with cores enabled? With cores enabled? Well, cores is something that's set at the application level, not at the custom element level. So you can do that and configure cores the way you need. So I'm not sure what you're running into there that you're asking that question, because they're run in 2 different contexts. CSharpDev says, so it's not good practice to await multiple times and say inside the same method without using the task when all. Disagree. I disagree. You can await multiple times in the same method because you may have a structure inside your code where you want to say, select data from the database. When it's done, format some data. When that's done, post that data to a microservice. When that's done, go fetch some data from another microservice, merge it, and return that. Those when it's done's are await operators. If there's any of those things that you can do concurrently, that's when you do task when all. When they run at the same time. Not necessarily. Better over in Twitch. You travel here to cool channels. And you've also got the cool emotes over there when you're running What's the plugin? Oh my goodness. I have it right here. Better TTV. There's a list of about 30 emotes featuring the .NET bot that you have over on Twitch. You use iTextSharp to create PDFs. Yeah, there you go, President. Not sure. Hector, HSC. Are we going to cover security with Maui? I need to get some help to write that session. I don't have any content specific to that currently. I'll need to do some digging to come up with that. TG is looking for more details for creating Docker files for .NET applications in Visual Studio and using Docker apps as well. There's great content in Microsoft Learn about how to do that. Do a search over there. There's great content over there. And now with .NET 7 and the .NET 7 SDK, you don't need a Docker file. You can build the container directly. Don't feed the trolls. No, Dan. I'm happy to turn them away. Still continuing Xbox, however, Halo is no longer used to sell. Give me a break. Come on. You really think that Microsoft has about a dozen billion-dollar companies? Do you really think that one game is going to be all that drives Xbox? There's other game console manufacturers out there that are of the belief that one game drives the purchase and acquisition of their platform. Microsoft is not that. How you doing there, Inception? Love the community streams, and you appreciate Microsoft's commitment to the community. Thank you, Inception. Great to see you. I appreciate that. Look at this. I'm all caught up. The last time that John Hibbert created... Is it John? Created a Maui app in Visual Studio, there seemed to be some errors related to hot reload functionality. Yeah. Are those issues resolved? I don't know. I just actually installed the latest patch for Visual Studio. We'll see. Great teacher. Thank you, CSharp Dev. Appreciate that. Hey there, Hop in the Cloud. Hello, hello. Look at that. Look at that timing. Look at that. We made it. Right in time. I've got my Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl shirt on here today. We in American football yesterday, we won the match against those always tough New York Giants. They weren't too tough yesterday. We won 38-7. And we're welcoming the San Francisco 49ers to Philadelphia next weekend. Winner goes on to play at the Super Bowl. That's a pretty big deal here in the States. And I've also been keeping an eye. I've been keeping an eye on Wrexham. Do you guys watch? Do you folks watch the Wrexham AFC? Small club, football club. There, you even got me saying football. International football. In Wrexham, Wales. After watching the series on, whether you watch it on the Disney Plus or FX, fantastic series about the growth and investment to not just rebuild a sports club, but to also rebuild a town by a couple of Hollywood stars. Fantastic series. Really enjoyed that, and I've been following them. They're still in the FA Cup in the UK, and they tied to lead their league with one game in hand. That's fantastic to see this weekend. So I've been following that. My Philadelphia Flyers, of course, I'm a Philadelphia sports fan. Winning a couple games over the last couple weeks. Getting back into it, but lost last night to those Winnipeg Jets. All right. They lost. And the Philadelphia 76ers are coming on after having just a miserable first 2 months where their three best players were injured off and on. Sometimes all three of them, but at least two of them were out for a better part of the first 6 weeks of the season. Literally started really bad, but now they're all back and they're looking a heck of a lot better, charging into the NBA. So sports is always a big thing here in the Philadelphia area, and I'm happy to share a little bit of that with you. Let's start off talking about C#11. I've got some fantastic code for you. I've rewritten my samples. I like to use, friends, I like to use a sample of playing cards. I'm a firm believer. I have Windows 7. This is what a Microsoft person I am. I wasn't even working for the company at the time, and I have Windows 7 playing cards. What? They got a kind of nice back. Oh, look at the green screen popping through there. Anyways, so these are, when I think of demos where we want to talk about objects that folks can relate to and how to interact with them or define different types of objects, I'm a believer that playing cards are something that we can all access, we can all get to, and it's easy to look at. Fan them out the other way, Fritz. It's easy to kind of look at these, and we all know what they are. We all kind of have an idea of what it means to put them in a specific order, to find specific cards, to shuffle. And these are poker cards, right? There's all the ranks, ace through 10, jack, queen, king, and there's a couple jokers at the end. And that's just one type of playing cards, right? There's other types out there. Pinochle, Baccarat. And of course, there's the other collectible card games like Pokemon and Magic the Gathering, like I enjoy. And I think playing cards are an interesting sample for us to tinker with and play with, because I think we can all relate. Whether you may be playing a game of solitaire, playing a game of poker, I think it's something that we can relate to and do more with as we learn some of these topics. So that's where I want to go today. I've got a couple samples using playing cards, and we're gonna take a look at how we can take advantage of using playing cards to learn things like generic math. Math and playing cards, that's weird. It's not. We're gonna get into that. Let me change over. I have a lapel mic here. Right, is it clipped on? I think it's clipped on, right? Let me just scoot that up just a little bit higher. I don't have a sound tech here in the home studio, you know what I'm saying? It's just Fritz. How's that? Hey, oh my goodness. It's over here and it's kind of hiding. I had this. I thought I had this working well. How's that? Not bad. No, it's let's see if I can get it right. How's that? There we go. That's not bad. That'll work. Hello, Mohammed in Algeria. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. It's very good to see you. I welcome you in. Nice shirt. Thank you, Juan. Yeah, got my Super Bowl shirt from a couple of years ago. You play blues, so you say nope. Okay. I see, Fuel Snable. Much better. Oh, thank you, Aldner. I appreciate the sound confirmation. I'm gonna take the headset off and head over to the other set so that we can start talking about let me make sure no signal coming off the machine because the screen went into hibernate. All right, grab the coffee there, kid, and we're gonna head over to the other scene right now. Yeah, here we go. Oh boy. See, look at that. Oh my goodness. Ah, it's back. All right. I have a couple keyboards here. I've got my deck of cards. Oh, you dog. My chat teleprompter here logged out on me. 1 second. Get this running again here. Come on, log back in. No, we're having a bad connection there. So I've got a second machine sitting here that serves as a teleprompter. and it's taking its good old time getting connected. That's fun. That's fun. Makes me feel so good. Let's see what we get here. Oh my gosh. It's really snowing here. I have a feeling this is a Linux driver issue. Let me restart. So I'm using my Linux machine as my teleprompter. Let's see how it does restarting. While I'm waiting for that, let's do this. I'm going to go. I have my gosh, you can't see it because it's on this side of the table. I have my my Surface laptop here. Let me go into today's content, and I've attached it to season 1, even though this is really like season 6 or something like that. There we go. And we will take a look at some of the code for this. Yes, I know. That should be here. There it is. There we go. Fantastic. So we're going to talk about C# 11's new features. I'm waiting for that teleprompter to come back up, and then I can see chat again, because it's all the way over on the other side of the room. There we go. And no. Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. That connected right away. But even though it's connected, Restream's not responding. No. That's so weird. Give me 1 second, and if I can't get this, we'll just move on without it. There it goes. Setting network address. Yeah. At some point here, I might as well just plug in a network cable, you know? Or do I go really old school and turn on my phone? See, these are the things that happen when it's been too long since I've been streaming with this setup. Come on, no. No, something's wrong. It's not getting connected to anything. And let's see. No, it's not connecting to anything. I've never seen this before, where the network is just completely gone on this machine. I need to be able to see chat so I can get your questions. I was not expecting that to completely die on me here. wonder if it's how I have it sitting over here. My apologies. I'm sure this is riveting. Okay, it says it's connected. There we go. There's chat. Now I can see chat. Oh my goodness. All right. Oh. There we go. All right, chat room. Now I can see you right there. Thank you so much for your patience. Let's dig in. Let's talk about C#11 new features. You can find this. Let me bring up the GitHub repository so you can see where that is. GitHub.com, CSharpFritz, C# with CSharpFritz. And it is particularly, you'll find this in the C#11 new features here in Season 1, C#11. And you will be able to follow along with the exact same README right here. The code to go along with what I'm going to show today is inside the sample code folder. You have everything you need. You can turn off the stream now and wander off if you'd like. It'd be nice if you stuck around, but we've got all the great content here that you need. So let's talk about this a little bit, all right? Put my coffee out there. Got all the things happening. So, let's dig in and start with, there's links here to the official Microsoft documentation if you want to go and read what somebody else on my team wrote about this, but we're going to walk through, and I believe there's 5 features we're going to talk about today. The first one that is the big one that the team, the developer team, the language team was very happy to deliver is generic math support. Now, when you think about doing math with a programming language, most of the stuff you do is kind of hard-coded in. It doesn't change much because working with integers and decimals and doubles and singles and long numbers and bytes, it's all the same when you do regular addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus, all the different things. You start doing statistics, standard deviations, mins, maxes, averages, all that stuff. But there might be times where you want to do a little bit more. Maybe you have your own specific types that you're working with that represent I do have a link there that I can grab for you. 1 second. I would be happy to put that into chat. But you might have different types that you want to wrap and have behave a bit like a numeric type. So, and that's where we're going to get into playing cards and using those as a numeric type. So there we go. It's this repository. And paste that. There you go. So when you think about playing cards, these absolutely are number-like, right? So this is a different deck of playing cards. This is a deck of playing cards that were made by the podcaster and artist Scott Johnson. You see there's the playing cards, right? And when you think about the playing cards, you know, let me just pull out the spades here right off the top. You know you have 13, right? You have 13, yeah, playing cards that make up a suit. And there's clearly rank order to them. So they are comparable. I know that the ace is smaller than a deuce. But there's also the weirdness of when I get out here, I have a 10, but I also have a jack, and the jack is, in the scope of poker playing cards, the jack is more than the 10. But the jack isn't a number, right? It has a rank that equates to the value 11. But we don't use that 11 anymore. It's just something that's in our minds that we use. So it's number-like. Similarly, we have a queen, and queen is 12, and it's one more than the jack, so it's a higher rank than the jack. And then we have the king. It's the same thing, right? The king is 13, and it's the highest face card in the group. And then there's the weirdness of, well, ace is also the highest. The ace is also more than the king. So we've got this number-like thing going on where I have playing cards that have values that are number-like. And it might be cool to be able to bring those into our code and be able to work with those like numbers. Now, I'm not going to do averages or standard deviations. Maybe I will. But I'm definitely going to want to be able to do min and max. Exactly, Stacy. Or is the ace high or is it low? In some games, it's low. In some games, it's both. In other games, it's only high. So there's capabilities there that we want to be able to define, and we want to be able to hand off that type of calculation to the specific implementation of the playing cards for the game that we might be writing. Now, I'm not going to go through and write a solitaire game here, right, or a poker game. But these are all concepts if we're going to build a playing card type and implement some of these capabilities. Take a look at this interface that's been introduced, iParsable. This is a new interface that you can use to define how to parse strings. All right, there you go, strings, with a format provider, and how to try to parse that string and turn it into whatever type we attach this interface to. And this shows the first of the important language enhancements that enable generic math. So generic math is a big feature in .NET 7 and C#11 because you needed both a language enhancement to introduce the static abstract keywords for this iParsable interface. I forgot to include the keyword interface at the beginning of that. Let's put that on there. There we go. There you go. And these are static values that you need to implement in order to be able to parse those types of methods. Syntax error. Thank you, President Not Sure. So I can implement and say, well, parse the text, maybe AS for Ace of Spades, and we'll turn that into an Ace of Spades card, right? Or maybe right, QC becomes Queen of Clubs. These types of things, right? So parsing and turning things from text into a type, a playing card type, will work. LinkPad threw a hissy fit. Does LinkPad support .NET 7 yet? I don't know. How you doing there? Another guy in the chat. Welcome. So by introducing an interface like this, it shows this first feature of static abstract. That's a language enhancement that says that this method must be implemented inside of a concrete class that is defined in uses and wants to be parsable, right? You need to define these. Now, I started writing a playing card interface here. So, and a playing card interface makes sense to me because when I have a playing card, whether it's a poker card or it's some other type of card, and I'm looking for a magic card here. I don't have any Pokemon cards here. Do I have any magic cards handy? Just so I can grab one. I might. There we go. I'll just grab, right? So I have an island from the game Magic the Gathering. It's different. It's not a standard poker card. It's different, but there's still features that I want to be able to implement that these types of cards, when I play this game, has that this game does. So I'm going to define an interface for playing cards. So whether it's Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, or poker, Pinochle, Baccarat, what have you, I'm going to define a playing card interface. Now, when I define something that is a static abstract method, there's no definition that comes with this. You have to implement this. I can define a default condition over here, a default capability with something like shuffle. I want to be able to shuffle a collection of playing cards, so I'm going to take in an IEnumerable of values, some collection of T, and T is a type that implements playing card. That's a little bit weird syntax there. That's generic syntax that constrains what that generic type T can be when this interface is implemented. So I'm going to implement an I playing card of type T where T is a playing card. Okay? So I can then put together this method that says shuffle. I want to be able to shuffle my cards and show a new collection that is all of that content all set up appropriately in a new order. And it just dropped the network over here. That's so weird. There it goes. So I have this method, and it's just doing an order by. It doesn't matter what the object is that's passing in, but GUID, new GUID, because the GUID is randomly generated and it's got some unique value to it. And if we do this, it's a generally accepted simple shuffle. And we could build this method out so that it takes and delivers appropriately a more complex shuffle for our collection here. So if I dig in further, I've defined an interface and I can put it on a card so that it now has this capability. But there's interfaces that are already out there that are available for you to enable adding other math interactions to your classes when you want to ramp up and do more with them. So not only iParsable, but we also have some of these. I'm noticing my green screen here isn't getting quite as greened out as it normally is. But there are other interfaces here that you can use to get some of those methods defined in a standard way so that you can implement that interface and start working with that. I'm trying to get this reconnected, and there, that says it's connected. All right. So all of these, and there's a link here to, there's a blog post that this comes out of. There you go. That has more information about these. You can dig in and research each one of these various interfaces so that you can enable these types of math operations. And clearly for a playing card, I don't care too much about most of these. But what I did do was I did go through and I started adding, let me open Visual Studio Code. And somebody was saying use Visual Studio Code instead of LinkPad. It's lighter. I totally agree. LinkPad is, Visual Studio Code is very light on resources. You can use that. We even use it on a Raspberry Pi. So if I go, let me go into my sample code folder here, and I will launch that content. And let me see, I'm going to go over here. There's my playing card object. So I can implement iPlaying card, and it has, I defined all the various playing card types here. So I have a static object that is ace through king, and these didn't calculate right. That didn't calculate right. I'll replace those. Cool. So I added some operators here so that I could say, well, are these the same rank? So I've added increment, so I can say, well, give me the next higher one. Decrement, give me the next lower value of the playing card. Equals, so I can see if they're the same, right? That might be important when you're playing poker and you want to check if my hand has the same rank as yours. Are you kidding? Go ahead, log in. Every now and again, the network connection from over here is just awful. Even though it's literally right there, it's going to. I really need to rerun that wire. So I also have a list of the text-based ranks. There, I have a private field called rank. More on that in a minute. But when we create a new card, it has an int of rank, and then I can toString get out the text of that. So I've introduced, and I have these operators here, so I can do some of that comparison, so I can see if one card is greater than or less than the others. Simple. Let me go back over here, and the next thing that I want to talk about doesn't have anything to do with the cards, but I want to talk about because this is the next big feature that folks talk about, and it's raw string literals. When you write text in C#, it is such a pain when it comes to escaping characters and writing multi-line code, because you have to concatenate together multiple lines, and it's just awful. With raw string literals, you can use the triple quote syntax. You see triple quote, and you can put whatever text you want inside of that, including indents and including quotes with no escape needed, and triple quotes to end it. Now there is a trick to this that you need to know. If you start triple quotes on one line and you continue down and you end the triple quotes on another line, these lines have to line up with the leftmost column from that last set of quotes. This way it knows that this is column 0. The compiler knows this is column 0, way over here where those S's are, the I and the T. It knows that that's column 0 to get started in presenting your content. So that means this honestly doesn't make sense to me. So by doing that, that means that when you do indent here, it'll preserve the indents. That's something that folks have wanted. You don't have to do the /T escape characters for tabs to push that stuff across. It's just there for you. That's really cool. That makes this a lot easier. And where that really makes it easy for folks to work with is when you're doing things like XML or JSON, right? Here's some XML, because it's really wonky to manage XML in here. I mean, look at this. I've got the quotes here. I'm not escaping that. And it's just formatted nicely. And I've even got a little string interpolation here where it's doing the curly braces, and I've got a $sign there where it would interpret and show the content of name. It would show Fritz inside there if I executed it. That makes sense. Triple quotes starts and ends the block. And I've got nice indentation here. For my human eyes, it's easy to read. And that's what this is all about. It doesn't add features that the compiler's going to figure out and do something amazing for you. It's about making things easier for our human eyes to be able to work with. That's a good start. But what happens when you need to actually output curly braces? or you need to output quotes, double quotes, inside your code, inside your output. So what you can do is just add another quote, add another $sign. So in this example here, what I've done, and how is the other network completely gone? Like my home network just completely disappeared. Okay. So when I want to output things that look like latitude and longitude inside curly braces, well, this looks a little bit weirder, but let's unpack that a little bit. There's something going on here that makes sense. Notice I've got $2 signs right there. So the $2 signs means that it needs an extra curly brace in order to activate the string interpolation. So if I want to output 00 for my latitude and longitude, I have to put 2 curly braces. You see the start and stop, and here on the longitude, right? 2 curly braces, and then 2 curly braces. And then there's a third. That one is not going to be escaped. That one is going to be presented and put into the output, and it will take the longitude and latitude and drop them into these 2 values and complete that string interpolation. Very cool. I really like that because it's clear to me exactly how that's going to work. And it makes my human eyes happy to be able to read that, interpret it without having to go and figure something out. So this doesn't make sense at all, this machine. The next thing I want to talk about is list pattern matching. Now, pattern matching, and I can't see chat right now. Let me put it on the big screen over here so that I can see it. Give me 1 second, because it is important to me that I see what you have to say. There we go. And I'm going to grab chat. Pop that out. There we go. And I'm going to need that mouse. 1 second. And move it over to this one so that I can scroll chat. All right. Nope. Why isn't it connecting to that one? There it goes. All right. Can I share the Git repository? Can somebody paste it again? Or I think the GitHub command should trigger it as well. I lost. I can't get the connection all the way to the mouse over there. Right, is that seeing it? Oh, can you tell it's the first day back in the studio for me? Can you? It feels so good. It really, really does. Did that trigger? Did that output it? Nope. Nope. Oh, I see. Razer wants to install. Come here. Give me that. Yeah, now that works. Now it works. Now I've got my teleprompter running again. All right. Cool. Now I can see it. Okay. List pattern matching is pattern matching is a feature, is a tool that was rolled out several versions ago in C# that allows you to do a check on the versions, not versions, on the type of objects and the properties of objects that are being compared. So think of it as almost like a stronger comparison type of interaction. So we can do things in typical C# to compare and calculate if something is a straight by saying, well, okay, give me the collection of cards, and we're going to order them by rank and go through and see, well, do they all count up here? And this is a very computer science way to do this. But it's also really something that once again, our human eyes are going to look at here and go, is that right? Is that calculated right? GitHub Copilot generated this for me. So folks earlier were saying, what's the ChatGPT way to do some of this stuff? Copilot generated this for me, but is it right? I don't know. Question in chat from Kanawana Gasaki on Twitch says, will the @ symbol do anything with raw string literals? No, it will not. The @ symbol was used, is used with typical strings, normal strings, to kind of flip into a different mode so that you escape characters differently. Double quotes would escape quotes instead of / escaping them. So you changed interpretation mode. @ does nothing because the triple quotes forces everything to be escaped at that point. Okay. Let me see, checking if there's anything else that I missed here. No, we're good. Okay. So while this is nice, I can do this with pattern matching and say, well, I know what all the hands are that make up a straight in poker. They're actually like this. So check this out. So once again, go get that collection of ranks of the cards. Put them into an array so I have that numeric value sitting there. And what I can do is I can do this pattern matching switch statement. This is a lot more readable. Because when I look at this, I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different values that make a straight in poker, right? Poker's a 5-card game, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, that is a straight. So is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on and so forth. The previous scenario up here does not account for the ace high straight. Stacy pointed this out in chat just a little bit ago. So how do I add in that condition so that we can do that also? Well, that very clearly is this last condition down here. So I have all of the straights being defined, and this one here that is 10, 11, 12, 13. Those are the values, and 1. The ace, which has been given the rank of 1. So there you can see that that's included and is marked as a straight. Any other collection of numbers, false. Okay. Could I use the spread range operator as well for the test here? I don't think so, because this is intended to be a pattern. When you do, you can use patterns here to say, you could say 2.6, and it would allow any value between 2 and 6, not unique values, and it wouldn't do the count up of those. So good question from Chris Jones on Twitch. Cesar on YouTube asks, comments here, you can use tuples. It is really nice. Yes, you can also use tuples in here to test with in pattern matching. So I wanted to make this nice and simple so that you can see that. And there's links to the pattern matching documentation for list pattern matching here, and it'll show you the other pattern matching capabilities as well. So now I've got the ability to test what a straight looks like, and that is much more readable to me. We can also use now a required keyword. Is this really live? Asks Mahai. No, it's not live. No, not live at all. This is recorded. If it's not recorded, it's Memorex. Of course it's live. So the required keyword allows you to define a field or a property that must be assigned at the conclusion of initialization. So if there's a field that you want to set that you would typically define, like we have that rank value, I typically define a constructor here that forces that value to be required because it's the only constructor, and you have to pass that in, and I do this assignment here. And okay, that works. That's nice. I can also do some checking on that if I wanted to do some guardrails around the rank value to make sure that it is a value between 1 and 13 for the cards in my poker playing card class. That makes sense. So looking at that then, if I wanted to allow you to use an object initializer, I could add a parameter list constructor, make rank public, and assign it required like this. And now I give you flexibility in how you want to construct and work with the poker playing card class. So inside my poker playing card class, I'll add a parameter list constructor, put the required keyword on rank, and now I can define an ace as a new poker playing card, rank equals 1. Now, that's on a field. You may want to make that a property, and a property with an init setter, right? Init only setter, so that you can do some inspection, some checks on that before you allow it to go through. Doing it as a field here is uber simple. It's very simple. It's not complex. It's showing that the feature works. All right. AutoMod is helping out over there. Is it? Yes, it did. Sorry. AutoMod is turned all the way up to the max on Twitch for the Visual Studio channel. You use the require keyword a lot in Blazor components to inject services to just shut up warnings. Okay. The restream messages are there, Mihai, to make sure that everybody sees the messages from both platforms. So, Fritz on YouTube asks, how does the required keyword interact with initialization from JSON or similar? It should function the exact same way because it will be populated and loaded from those JSON documents. From when you do a JSON serializer and you load things, it should behave properly when you serialize or deserialize. You shouldn't see an issue there unless it's a missing field, in which case it should properly throw I forget what type of exception is, the exact exception type, but it will throw an exception for you if the field is missing when you're serializing, deserializing from JSON, XML, CSV, whatever it is you might be using. Let me go to this question also from Edward on YouTube. What happens when a public required string property is set to null? Well, is that so? That's a really good question. So the required requires that there's a value at initialization. So that's important, right? Only at initialization time. If later on it's set to null, if it's set back to the default value, that's a whole nother kettle of fish. That's a different problem that required doesn't enforce. That's right. We have a code of conduct on all live streaming events and shows there. And really, with the $sign, 1995 called and it wants their chat back. Come on now. So here we go. That's kind of cool. Gives it more flexibility in how you define and interact with code. The last thing that I want to show you here is file scoped types. This is very interesting because we already know we have public scope, protected scope, private scope, internal scope, but we can now also define C# content, top-level objects, as having file scope. When they have file scope, they're only accessible inside the file in which it's written. So if I were to write a file called tests.cs, and we think folks are also going to use this in generated code, I could define a type called configure, and it has some configuration code in here for how my tests are going to be configured. And I can write my tests and call in and say configure, and because this file has a configure method, it will use that method. But if I was in a different file that had a public scoped configure class that was elsewhere, that would be called and not that other file would be called and not this one that we see here. Okay? So you have ways now to hide things as private to the file it's delivered in, which is it's very handy for unit tests and generated code. And all the call into and here you see calling new configure. If I moved this into another file, it would execute another configure object. Really neat capability for you to have content available to run with these types of objects that you've generated, and when they get swapped in with different types that have the same name somewhere else, those types will interact with the other objects elsewhere. So you get a nice bit of scoping there. VB6 and IE are in the same WhatsApp group. You're very welcome, King Thurston. Have a good one. Ooh, an 8-ounce ribeye. Tasty. Can reflection hack this restriction and access file scoped objects? Of course. Reflection can hack anything that's in code that you ship. Yes. That's you can reach in and interact with these things, but for the typical interactions, working with the code, working with the protections that C# and the compiler give you, you're just fine here. You can use reflection to reach into anything and grab private, internal, sealed objects, and it doesn't matter. .NET allows that. That's how our tools and things work that show and allow you to interact with these things. So you can do that. It's quite frankly, any code that's delivered onto anybody's machine, you need to consider has been decompiled and is available to them. So hiding it and expecting that that's security is just not realistic. Edward thinks the file modifier is dangerous. When you refactor and bring a function over from one file to another, it could potentially behave differently. Agree, and that's where we believe it's good for generated code. When you have some code generator, you have some tool that's generating code, you want these things to have the names that you define to go with it here, because they're going to live in the same namespace as the rest of whatever it is that you've generated. But these types of utility classes might have a matching name somewhere else in the application. And in order to prevent that type of collision, this works nicely. So, but you're right, if you were to grab the content, grab part of this content from this file and move it somewhere else, yeah, it will potentially behave differently. You need to be aware of that capability. So, we are at 10:45. I've got about 15 minutes left. That's all I wanted to talk about with regard to C# 11. Any more questions before I go over and we do a little bit of intro to .NET MAUI? I think we're in good place here. I'll give a couple seconds here for folks to type into chat and for the buffer to get out there. Is that Jumaine? Hello? Excuse me. All right. Let's head over. I'm going to head back to the main machine. And let's talk a little bit about .NET MAUI. Thank you, Robert Tables. Good to see you. Let me head back over there. We're going to talk about .NET MAUI. See that, Robert? I got to talk about playing cards, and I even brought in a little MTG as well, a little island there for some fun. Let's head over, get back into the saddle, and we'll talk about .NET MAUI. I need to be on the big machine here because I need a little bit more horsepower to drive the content that we're going to show. But I think we'll do the Linux-based MAUI next time and have some fun with that. All right, let's see. Move that over here. Put the headset thing back on. There we go. See, different microphone, right? Actually, you can't see yet. That's totally a thing. Go back to the other screen, Fritz. Where is it? Where is it? This one. Hello. Let's see. Yeah, the big machine, right? Let me see here. I need to pop this back. How do you pop it back in? Do I just close that? Yeah, it does. MAUI on Linux. It's illegal? Not at all. Not at all. In fact, I gave a presentation showing .NET MAUI on Linux on stage with Maddie Montequilla from the .NET MAUI team and had her full support. So it's not that it's illegal, it's the tooling isn't quite there yet. Twitch has used MAUI for projects, works great. New features added on the regular. Yes, it's a fast-growing framework, and it's going to level up and get somewhere here soon. I wouldn't say Xamarin is outdated. Xamarin is the previous version of .NET MAUI. We've got about another year of support available in it. I forget exactly when the support for that is over, but there's about another year of support before you're going to be encouraged to migrate over to .NET MAUI. Do I get in here? How much can I do? Let me see if I can open the demo here for my first MAUI app. And holy smokes, Twitch is out viewing YouTube today. Look at that. That's beautiful. I wasn't expecting that at all. Not something to be expected. How you doing there? Martin does coding. Is MAUI only for making mobile apps with .NET? No, MAUI is for making native apps with .NET for iOS, Android, Windows, and Mac OS. Ah, look at that. It upgraded my tools here. I need to... Yes, go ahead. Do the Android SDK upgrade. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. Upgrade. Do all the things here. Is there a way you could reach out to me? Yes. You can reach out to me. Is that Aldnaro? You can reach out to me on Twitter. My DMs are open. My phone hid a bunch of DMs from me over December from folks that I don't follow, so I'm just catching up on those. I've got about 10 minutes. Am I going to be able to show the new project here? It's installing Android SDK. Come on, let's see if it goes. I'd really like to get that running. It'd be nice. Let's see what we get here. You know what? I didn't turn on the other camera. Get that turned on. There we go. Racing against an SDK install, right? We need the sound from 24. Well, no. It looks like it stopped. Oh yeah. It did. This should work. This should totally work. Let's head over to the other screen. Yep. So, over to the... Come on, tell me them buttons work. Tell me them buttons work. No, I don't have that on the Stream Deck, no. So here's Visual Studio 2022. And there are capabilities in here for .NET MAUI. That's where we're going next. So you can build native applications on your favorite iOS, Android, Windows, or Mac. So I can go through and say, give me a .NET MAUI app. Yes. Put it in some folder over there. I'd like .NET 7. I've already created this app, so I'm not actually going to let that finish. And the default app is sitting over here. Set that as the startup. And for those of you who enjoy working with XAML, there is XAML capabilities in here. And it's going to look just like what you're familiar with interacting with in XAML. I am not a XAML person. This, to me, looks like HTML that's missing CSS. Where's my divs and spans? That's fine. I can run this, my first MAUI app, there we go, and I'll run it on my Windows machine here. It'll build, compile with the Windows tools, and we'll get this running as a Windows app. There you go. Deploy succeeded, and we should see that first app. There it is. So this is the default template. Has the little .NET bot in the middle, little menu bar at the top, and it counts as I click the button. When I click the button, there it is. Button on the clicked event handler there, we're going to call on counter clicked, and it just formats the text of the label. Easy. And it kind of makes sense what's going on here. It's a scroll view with a vertical stack layout with those couple things. And of course, there's where the shell content goes inside of the application. The other flavor of .NET MAUI that we're actually seeing a lot more folks interested in is the Blazor hybrid variant. So when you say File New Project, you can also choose... Oh, it's running. Stop. So I'll do Add New Project. You can also choose a .NET MAUI Blazor application. And what this will give you is a native application that's hosting what we call a web view component that a Blazor application is rendering content into with HTML. There is no server, but this is developed and deployed as though there was a server component there that was rendering content. It's running in memory. There is no network request going in. It's running in memory and outputting HTML that web view can handle. So when you look at your index razor up here, no. When I look at my main page, by default, it has one Blazor web view in it. In fact, let me just build the basic one here. Let's add that in so you see what the default template is, because I've already tinkered with it here. And let that build. So you end up with one page. It's a content page that has a background color that's coming out of a page background color setting inside the application. But then I have this Blazor web view component that is going to host a web view component, not a browser. There's an important difference there. We've got 5 minutes to go. I'm going to explain that in just a second. It does load up a web page into the browser component it's hosting. The web view is a component that is built and rendered so that it loads whatever browser is native to the operating system it's deployed. This means that when you deploy a Blazor hybrid application on Windows, this web view is going to load up an Edge browser component. Whatever the Edge browser is that's installed on that operating system. When you're on iOS, it'll load up Safari. When you're on macOS, Safari. When you're on Android, it'll load up Chrome. But it'll load up that browser that's loaded on that. This is a huge benefit over the way that Electron-based applications are built. It's a similar concept as the Electron-based apps, but different. Because the Electron-based apps, you package the Chromium browser. You literally take a copy of the navigation panel, and that's what it uses on every machine you deploy to. And that's okay, you get that exact same thing, but where it's not okay is when the Chromium team patches, because there's a security fix that's needed. When they patch, it doesn't get installed into your application by default. It uses the system default. Not the system default, the operating system specific browser version. So when Edge gets updated, when Safari gets updated, when Chrome gets updated, your application gets the latest version of that browser running in it. XCoreX asks, will it favor Edge over Chrome on a Windows-based machine? Yes. It always will. Because that's the default here. Now, let's put all the chips on the table. The latest version of Edge and the latest version of Chrome, what's inside the browser frame is identical. It uses the exact same Chromium rendering inside the browser window. The navigation above that, the plugins, the features that go in and interact with that, different. But everything that inside your pages that gets rendered in there is identical between the two browsers. So on Windows, doesn't matter. I can't force it to use Firefox. So that's really cool. But what I can also do is I can put multiple Blazor web views on a page. Here I've taken that page and I've broken it out into a tabbed page instead of a content page. And I have a bunch of tabs for the different pages that are inside my application. So when I run this, I'm not going to run it on the Android one. Let's run the Windows version. It will compile and run, and I'll get tabs with browser windows for each one, and with a new browser window for each one of these tabs. So there's my 3 tabs. There's the counter, which looks just like the Blazor counter. And I have the fetch data sample that goes and fetches data and presents it. Really cool stuff. A lot of flexibility for you to bring native components, in this case, tabbed navigation, into the application and interact with that Blazor HTML generated content. Great, great stuff. Let me wrap it up. Let's head back over to the main page with chat. And let's call it a day. This has been a big first day back. My goodness. We went through a lot. We had our typical discussion to get things started. Lots of AMA on all kinds of things. C#, Visual Studio Code. Thank you so much for being a part of that. We talked about some of the new C# 11 features. We watched Fritz fight with the network connection in his home here. Hopefully I've got my studio connections a little bit better for next time. And we just took a look at what the basic MAUI application templates look like. We're going to dig in further and start building a brand new application with .NET MAUI next time. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Look at all the friends here. Hop in the cloud. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. C# Twitch. I appreciate the kind words. XCoreX. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Done with work. Watch the rest of the stream at home. Take care. Dimmy, hope you had a good one. Dukasoft, thank you so much. Friends, there's lots of great content on the .NET channel over on YouTube, and we've got lots more shows coming for you on the Visual Studio channel on Twitch. I hope wherever you are, you have a great rest of your day. Check out some of the other content we have coming. We've got folks from the Visual Studio team. Tomorrow, we've got folks from the ASP.NET team. Later on in the week, there's even more content coming. You can catch me always on Tuesday and Thursday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, over on twitch.tv/CSharpFritz. And on Fridays, I've started streaming at 10 a.m. on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/CSharpFritz. For those of you on YouTube, have a terrific rest of your day. There's lots of great content linked over here. Check out the other videos just below. And for those of you on Twitch, let's get ready for a raid. Let's see who else is out there on the big Twitch TV network that we can raid, that we can get you connected to, that would be really cool to see, that's doing some other awesome tech content out there. Browsing around the horn here, I'm going to get you connected to, let's go over to our friend Tim Bodette, who is building games with Unity, with C# and Unity. So on the Visual Studio channel, we will raid our friend Tim. Thank you so much, Dukasoft, for the hearts. There we go. All right. I wish you good health and good coding. Take care.